Welcome to the Cross Border Interviews, the show where we sit down and dive into the insights of municipal political leaders from across Canada. Now, our mission on the show is quite simple: shine a light on the dedicated individuals who day in and day out work around the council tables to shape the communities that we call home. And for today's episode, we are honored to be sitting down and heading to Borden, Saskatchewan to chat with Mayor Jamie Brandrick. The village of Borden, Saskatchewan was founded in 1905. Since then, Borden has always been a community that every person is proud to call home. Borden is conveniently situated on the divided four-lane Trans-Canada Yellowhead Highway number 16, 25 minutes northwest of Saskatoon. Borden is approximately 5 miles west of the North Saskatchewan River and offers excellent access to larger communities. The community of Borden has a keen sense of the past, progressive attitudes, and loyalty to local businesses and services mean survival. Borden has a cooperative spirit, which makes life rich for individuals and organizations alike. Across Canada, our cities, towns, villages, and rural communities are alive with stories waiting to be told. Stories of innovation and economic development, resilience in the face of the housing challenges, and the financial hurdles municipalities overcome every day. At the Cross Border Network, we bring these stories to life. From coast to coast to coast, we're connecting Canadians to the issues shaping our communities and showcasing the people working tirelessly to make them thrive. With your support, we can expand our reach, amplify more voices, and shine a light on the challenges and triumphs of municipal life. For as little as $3.99 a month, you can help us grow and continue sharing the stories that matter most. Join us today and be part of this important mission. Together, we can tell more stories, build stronger communities, and make a real difference. Support the Cross Border Network now. Visit www.crossborderinterviews.ca today. Mayor, thank you so much for sitting down with me and talking about yourself and talking about your beautiful community of the Village of Borden. I just want to start, if you don't mind, by getting to know the man behind the persona of Mayor for a few minutes. And I've got to ask a very simple but very revealing question. Where did your sense of duty to serve your community come from, Jamie?
That probably came from my parents. They were always willing to help people, regardless. Not in a capacity as being a mayor or on council or anything, but they helped the community. They volunteered at school. Dad drove us around for uh, high school game, not high school, sorry, elementary games and stuff like that. And mom was always there with food on the table, ready to feed my friends and stuff. So that's probably where it all started.
So where did the political bug come from then? Because I can't imagine you just woke up one day and said, "I want to be mayor of my village." Where did the political bug come from there, Jamie?
No, actually, I didn't even grow up in Borden. I grew up in a city called Prince Albert, which is about a couple hours north of here. Where it came from, I've always been interested in politics. Um,
Was it
I
always
thought about
municipal though?
not municipal, not necessarily. No, it's provincial, federal, you know, any type of politics. So that's where it came from. Came from like I remember as a kid, I used to sit and watch CPAC or be interested in the American politics and stuff like that. My dad would watch the news and we'd watch, election campaigns and the presidents and stuff like that. So I've always been interested in that, and I followed, I guess, a little more closely my city, Prince Albert, their politics and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's just always been something in the back of my mind.
So what happened to finally pull that trigger? Because again, you don't just wake up one day and say, "I'm going to run for council and then run for mayor." What was going on that you made that choice ultimately to say, "This is the election I'm going to run in"? And what was that election? Do you remember? I'm assuming you remember because you got elected then.
Yeah. The first election I was elected in was in 2009 in the Village of Borden. I was a counselor then. What got me going was people asked me. I was new to the community, and in for the election of 2009, and they asked if I would consider running.
How new is
So
new though? Because like new to Saskatchewan's like 20 years still. Like I've
no,
learned.
I was 2 years.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
real new, yeah.
That is really new.
So
Go ahead.
yeah, my wife, she had a nail business and things. So clients would come to the house, and then after they were done, they would ask me if I'd be interested in running. And I'm like, okay. My neighbor asked me if I would run, and so I thought about it, talked to my wife, and I said, "What the heck? Let's throw my hat in the ring." And I was first elected in 2009.
So everyone remembers their first election because I remember the first time I put my name on the ballot, and it's a surreal experience because I'm not sure, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but in most cases, you run, you put your name on a sign, you put your name on brochures, you go door knocking, and then that ultimate election day, you walk up into the ballot box and you see your name and you go, "Dear God, what have I done?" Because that's what I did. So for you, that first campaign sort of probably is etched in your mind of how you sort of became the politician you are today. What do you remember from that first campaign that you still take to heart almost, I would say, 15 years into being a counselor slash mayor?
Yeah, I guess it was just door knocking, going around and asking people. Um, Beyond my campaigns, I've helped out provincially and I've helped out federally, door knocking as well. Um, so yeah, just door knocking, talking to the people, and hearing what they have to say.
Okay, so now you broached the subject, so I've got to play in it for a second, if you don't mind, because I get a sense in this country, and this is Chris Brown speaking, not the mayor of Borden speaking. So anyone who's about to send emails, please send them to me. I get a sense that the people of Canada are tuned out when it comes to municipal politics. They probably know their MLA. They probably know what's going on in the provincial legislature. They probably know what's going on federally, but hard pressed to say that there's a large portion of people who understand the day to day intricacies of what's going on at the council table. When you do door knock, do you get a sense that there is an apathetic nature that municipal politics is as long as my water's turned on and as my garbage is picked up, I'm comfortable with what's going on in the town or the village?
Um, yeah, you could say there's a bit of a disconnect. Um, I think a bigger disconnect. I think in the bigger cities, in the smaller towns, there's still people still voice their opinions, and
The
they'll
good, the bad,
call.
and
They'll
the
call.
indifferent.
Yeah, they'll call. But you know what? I have to say I have an amazing team because I maybe get 2 calls per year, and yeah, I
Wow.
know it's yeah. So I got an amazing team, meaning my council and my administration staff and public works staff. So we've always tried to, um, since I became mayor, is first point of contact is the administration office. Most likely they'll be able to help you. There's been a couple times where I've uh, discretionary use um, uh, subjects come up, and they'll phone me and they'll give me their personal opinion, right, and try to sway my vote on that. So yeah,
So,
but yeah, most people I would say are disconnected with municipal politics.
so you bring up a tongue-in-cheek kind of statement. I just want to follow up on that because after almost 15 years, 16 years in political office, you've come to the realization, I would assume, that not 100% of the issues that you vote on in council are going to be universally loved in your community. I can imagine no
Right.
matter what you do, if you pass a budget, there's always going to be people who are upset with that budget, no matter what budget it is, and if there's a 0% increase or a 1%. How do you make those tough choices? Because at the end of the day, you're that one person around that council table that has to put up their hand and say, yes, I'm voting for it or I'm voting against it. What do you do to ensure that you're making the right decisions for your community, knowing that 100% of the people are never going to be fully behind you?
I make decisions on for the community as a whole.
Is
Yes,
that
there are going to
hard?
be people. Yeah, and sometimes it is. Yeah, sometimes I may not think that personally. I don't like the direct. I may not like personally a decision personally, but I know as a community as a whole that that's the right thing to do. So you got to try and check that out a little bit at the door. And yes, you got it. You're a taxpayer as well, but you're representing the whole community, especially as a mayor and in a small town. So sometimes you got to check that at the door and do what's right for the community. And yeah, you're never going to have 100% buy-in from every single person.
So how do you do that? Because I can imagine that's probably a hard responsibility to put on yourself because you hear from your general population of what they want for the community, and you just self-described that there's a disconnect of the people who are probably coming into council meetings and watching 7 days a week or whenever you have a council meeting, your council meetings each month. So you have to make the best decision for the community. And you just openly admit that sometimes you even have a hard time because you believe in what you believe, because we all have our morals, but the community is better off with somebody with a certain issue. How does that play out in your community? Because I can imagine you know everyone, you know what they want, their needs are. You've run enough campaigns, you've probably know every single person in your community. Does it get challenging to sort of put yourself out of the equation and only focus on what's best for the community, even though it may go against what you believe in?
It's challenging. Yeah, for sure it is.
Does
But
it get
yes,
easier to make those choices as you go on? Like the tough choices that you had to make in 2009 when you first got elected to 2025 as we're talking, have they gotten easier or they have actually gotten worse?
no, it has gotten easier because you do realize, like I said, you realize that it's for the community as a whole. You gotta just remember to check that at the door. Like I said, um, it does get easier. You learn to you pick up things along the years. You learn to balance, you know, Jamie the mayor and Jamie the citizen. So
Because you
you
pay
learn to do
property
that.
taxes too, right? Because that's the one
Exactly.
thing I hear
I
from residents all the time. Council doesn't pay taxes, so why are they're not upset because their taxes don't go up because they don't pay it. Well,
you know
anyway,
I hear it from my wife. They're going up again.
must be some great dinner conversations around budget time in the
Oh
Brandrick
yes,
household.
yes
um,
indeed.
so you talk about the opinions. And when you walk into that council table, that council room, you have to have a unbiased opinion on all issues because you have to be potentially swayed by what other people have said, other councils have mentioned, or even delegations to council. When you do get faced with dilemmas, are you willing to say, can we just pause for a few minutes and hold off till the next meeting so we can gather some more information? Or would you rather try and get the ball rolling? Because you and I both would probably agree that the cost of doing business in government is not slowing down. And if you don't do something
Mhm.
today, it's going to get a lot more expensive tomorrow. So are you willing to pause things and make sure you get the decision right, no matter if it does potentially increase the value?
Yeah, we've done it. We've done it. We said we need more information. We can't make an informed decision, and we've tabled it for 2 weeks while administration finds our answers that we're asking for. So yeah, we've done it.
And then my final question in this subject before we turn to the village as a whole, and this is the one I want to hear from because you mentioned the mayor and the just Jamie. Have you struck a balance of that? Because when you leave your house, you are the mayor 24/7. Now, I'm going to burst some bubbles here. The mayor does not get paid a lot of money, but he's a mayor 24/7, 7 days a week,
Mhm.
365 days a year. When you go out into the community, you probably get approached by people and say, Jamie, or you say you openly admit that you only got two calls, but there's probably people who do have questions for you at the grocery store, at the gas station, this, that, or the other. Can you just be Jamie in your community, or are you always the mayor? And do you feel like there's an added pressure to always be on to ensure that if someone has a question or an answer, or a question or a comment that they need the mayor's attention, you need to give it to them right away, even if that is detrimental to the family life?
It depends on the question. Can I do? Yes, there's times I go out and I'm just Jamie. I've had people approach me and I said, you know what? This isn't a great time for me to give this answer and talk to you about it. So why don't we talk about this later? Give me a call, or I'll give them a call later. Yeah, there are times I've done that. Say, you know what? I'm not in a position to answer it right now, so let me call you back.
So
So
and
I've
they're
done that.
respectful on that, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Good for you, community. Good for you. Um, I want to turn to the community as a whole and the village as a whole, but before I start this line of questioning, I just need to get this off my chest because if I don't, I will get at least one or two emails from somebody across Canada saying that this is wrong. This is a conversation between the mayor and myself. This is not emotion of council, not a direction of council, or not even a policy of council. This is the mayor's opinion and his opinion alone. Now, it may line up with what's going on at council, and as mayor, he is speaking on behalf of the entire community. But at the end of the day, he needs the majority of council members around that council table to vote in favor or against a motion to make it a policy, a bylaw, or a direction of administration. With that being said, whew, I've said that enough times.
Yeah,
Mayor,
that was quick.
in your opinion, as of recording this at the end of May 2025, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing your village today?
Infrastructure funding. That's our biggest challenge. We know we need some infrastructure redone, some water lines and things like that. We need to grow our commercial business district along Highway 16, and we need it serviced. There's no services out there. And I don't know the exact costs, but I would probably guess somewhere around a $250,000 to get sewer and water out there. And as a village of 314, we don't have that cash. So infrastructure funding, I would say, is the number one issue that we're facing, because then we have to pick and choose and decide, what are we going to do? What are we going to keep? Yeah, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? So, yeah.
So, so then my follow-up question, which I'm assuming any good host of a show that talks about municipal issues enough has to ask is, how do you do it? Because a community built, founded in 1905, like yours, I'm assuming you have grown and you have
Mhm.
built pipes under your ground
Mhm.
for water, sewer, roads, and let's be honest, the lifespan of those pipes are probably coming due shortly, if not already. And with a tax base of 314 residents, and let's be honest, not all of them pay taxes because some of them were probably children. And if they're paying taxes,
Mhm.
that's going to be really hard for me to not ask that follow-up question. How do you keep up with the infrastructure challenges in a community of your size with the understanding that you can't do it alone? Is the province listening? And I've got to ask that political question.
Is the province listening? Uh, I think they know the issue. They know about it. Are they listening? I'm not sure if they're listening. I don't know. Um,
Does your residents understand the issue?
Somewhat. I would say somewhat. They know that the challenges that we have as a small municipality and the cost of things just keep rising and rising to get them done. Yeah, they're somewhat. They know the challenges we have, and it's probably some of the decisions we have to make.
So how do you make those tough decisions? Because infrastructure, last time I looked, pipes are not that cheap anymore. And you
Nope.
say a few $1 million just to build pipes to a certain area. Well, to replace pipes and water sewer lines is even more expensive right now.
Yeah.
How are you doing it, or are you doing it? And are you potentially at a point where you need either some Hail Mary to come and throw you a ball here, or you could be looking at some very dire consequences?
Well, we do have some reserves put away. We do that, and we rely heavily on grants. We have an amazing team that apply for grants, um, and we have the gas tax, of course, that comes federally, and we have a municipal revenue sharing that comes from the province.
One of the best in the
Um,
province, one of the best in Canada, if I
yeah,
will say that, because every municipality in other provinces that I talk to are envious of your municipal sharing, revenue sharing.
yeah, we're pretty lucky in Saskatchewan to have that. I wish that they would take the PST off construction, but that's
That
another that's another issue.
That is right. I remember Lloydminster Mayor Gerald Albers and I had a conversation about that a few years ago, and I still couldn't believe it. And then when I was digging, I was like, "Really?" And every government's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, governments don't tax other governments." Well, I guess they do. Yes, they
Yeah, they
do.
do. The
So,
PST. So yeah, we rely heavily on grants, and how we make it. We do it as a team. We got a like I said, we have a good council. Um, so yeah, we just do what is right for the community at this time, and put money away in reserves. We know we have to, but we just hope that we're awarded a grant sometime, and we can get the ball rolling.
do you find yourself in 2025 being more reactive to infrastructure challenges than being proactive? Because the cost of even
Yeah.
repairing a pipeline or water line in a community is exponential compared to replacing it. So while you're putting money away into reserves, I can imagine that can come at a cost where you're being, okay, we can't do this replacement because we have to prepare potentially of a break next year because things break. And I don't care who you are, any
Yeah.
municipality knows. Calgary knows that for sure. And I remember living through that
Mhm.
last year where I had no water. So are you being more proactive, reactive than proactive these days?
Um, yeah, we're lucky we haven't had a major break in a couple of years, so that's good.
Can I
Um,
move to your
and
community?
we're
I'm getting a sense that I would be better off with the water situation in your community than mine right now.
yeah, we're pretty lucky. We got a good public works team, um, and we are being proactive right now. Our lagoon we know needs to be updated for us to continue to grow. So we are working with a consultant company, and we are applying for grants, and our water treatment plant should be paid off or nearly paid off by the time we need to start constructing a new lagoon. So we're trying to juggle that loan so we can go to municipal boring and say, hey, we need a couple more mil. We got to build us a lagoon now so we can continue to grow. So that side, we're being proactive. Like I said, we've been lucky. We haven't had any major water breaks. So,
Knock on wood.
yeah. And now that I've said this, oh boy.
Oh boy. Uh, um, I want to flip the original question in this segment because while understandably every municipality has its challenges, and I am not trying to disregard your challenges that you face because infrastructure is a big challenge. Every municipality has the things that they're doing well, the things that are going good in their community. From your perspective as mayor, what is the thing that is going right for your village that you look at and you say, you know what, we have our challenges, but we've got this going for us? What is that X factor that makes your community great?
um, well, besides the people, I would say we have our water plant. I've become more of a water snob. I won't drink water in the city of Saskatoon unless I absolutely have to. I bring a big jug of water from home to work for me, so I have some water for the whole day. That's going for us. we're getting fiber right now. That's a huge thing. So we're going to be able to market to people that, hey, you want to work from home? Come small town living. Come to Borden, and you can work from home just as fast as you can from any city in North America that has fiber. But I
Can
really
I
do think that.
can I just pick up on that before you go on, because I just want to
Sure.
add this question because um as we're recording this, there's a big convention that is going to be going on next week in Ottawa, which is the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. And
Mhm.
the idea of this remote working, which I think a lot of smaller communities are trying to grapple into and try to bring into their communities, the fiber optics, the high speed internet, which is a big boom for any small community. But to do that, you also need houses for people to live in. Do you get a sense
Mhm.
in your community that there
Yeah.
is those housing that people can move in tomorrow? Like if I go into Borden today, would I be able to find a house if I wanted one, or would I have to wait for a bidding war to start over housing right now?
Short answer is no. That's another challenge we have. We need to have our lots. We need people to build here. That's an issue as well. Um,
Because it's
if
the
we had
it's
some,
the go ahead.
I was going to say, if we had some housing here, our daycare, we have a great daycare here that just opened a couple years ago. They're struggling for workers just because we don't have housing here for people. And our care home, they're struggling for people to work. So if we had some rental properties and stuff, we would be able to house some people so that they could do these work, do these jobs, get into boarding and make a living.
But it's that age old question, and I think you probably know it better than I do, that which comes first, the developer or the infrastructure? Because developers that I
Mm-hmm.
speak to say, I'm not going to any community that does not have infrastructure in ground ready for me to build on their lots, because that's what I want. I don't want to have to go in and wait for the permitting and then wait 5 years. I want to start today. We just talked about your infrastructure challenges, and I'm gonna kind of poke the bear a little bit, and I've kind of apologize immensely right now. Are you set up for that potential growth, or are you sort of again waiting for the developers to say we have an interest of building in your community?
Yeah, we're waiting for the developers, to be honest. That's
Because
unfortunate.
it sounds like, and again, I apologize to interrupt, but it sounds like you are prepared for potential growth with the new water lagoon system that you've put in, but it's the developers who need to come in so you can start utilizing that water lagoon system.
Right. Yeah. Like our water plant is sorry, is big enough for I believe it's around 1,000 people that
Oh
we
wow.
could yeah. So and then we have to expand our lagoon. So but yeah, so water we have ready to go. It would just be the infrastructure piping it in, whatnot. Um so yeah, that's
The age old
it's
question,
tough.
right?
Yeah, it's tough. The chicken or the egg. Yeah, exactly.
But I
That's
want to go.
that's what we.
I want to go back to the
Have.
original question though about the good things that are going right in your communities. I interrupted you when you talked about fiber, but you were about to finish your statement. I'm not sure if you remember where you're going with it, but I'm just going to let you finish off that because I'm cautious of time and we're almost at the about 30-minute mark. So I just want to make sure I get my
Oh my.
last two. That's the great thing about these shows; they go very quickly. So I want to let you continue on what's going right in your community and the good things that you're proud of that makes you proud to be mayor of Borden, Saskatchewan.
Uh, I think it's the people. They jump right in. When there's an issue or a crisis. I just think back to the flood of 2013 we had. Everybody was on board. Everybody pitched in. People were had pipes going through their house. There were big generators right outside their house. Um, so it was, yeah, it was a community effort, and we got through the flood. And the people that are on the different committees and things like that. Our fire department. I'm also involved in with the fire. I'm a captain on the fire department as well. So I'm pretty proud of those folks there. Um,
Why do you think that is?
Yeah.
Why do you think people in Borden actually pitch in? Because most people in today's age, and I'm gonna again painting a broad stroke here, and I apologize. Please send your nasty emails to Chris Brown, not the mayor, because I'm saying this. But I'm getting a sense that there's a lot of uh, exhaustion out there in Canada right now, particularly after COVID-19, particularly after natural disasters. But it sounds like, from what you're saying, people in Borden are still willing to roll up their sleeves when times get tough and help out their fellow neighbors. Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. It's I don't know how to answer that. I think people just care about Borden. I think they yeah, they just care about the community. They want to see it grow, they want to see it thrive, and they care about other people. Um, I think that's what I feel is in their heart they truly care about other people, so they're going to help people. Sure, does everybody get along? No, but you know what?
You're
If I know there's
really quick to answer that own question there, Mayor. Do all people get along?
exactly
Nope.
nope, they don't. But you know what? If there are people that um, needed help, no questions asked. Anybody would do anything for anybody in this community, hands down. I have no doubt about it.
For you. Now, I turn to a subject that is relatively exclusive to Saskatchewan, and that is last October, you all went to, I'd say you, as in the municipalities, urban municipalities, which Borden is part of urban municipalities, went to elections, and now we're just to pass about 6 months into this new term in office. How has this new council worked together in the first 6 months, and are you looking forward to the next 3.5 years with this new council working together to make your community better off than you left it when you took over the keys on November? I'm going to get my dates here wrong, but I think it was November 13th when the election was.
Yeah, I think well, I can't remember the date. To be honest, I wasn't going to run again. I really
What?
wasn't. 4 terms. I wasn't going to run. I was just. I'm. I was. I am tired. Um, Not was tired. I am tired. I'm exhausted. Being with on the fire department and stuff like that, and I also play in a band, so got gigs with that too. So um, yeah,
So
I wasn't gonna run.
you opened up the subject before you go on. You're not going to run. What's the name of the band? I got to look them up. I got to make sure the links in the show notes so that way people can check out the Mayor of Borden's Saskatchewan's band. What is it called?
Putt Putt's Garage. It's a bunch of friends from Borden and Dalmany. We got together and we needed a band. I needed a band. I actually committed to a gig in the neighboring town, and I was in another band, and they had prior engagements, and I thought we were in, but obviously not. So I went to my friends who I knew were musicians, and I said, "Okay, guys, I need a band." And so we got together, and in 80 days, we threw a band together, and we played our first gig. So, and we've been together for 5 years. Since 2019. This was in 2019 when I did that.
That is
So
awesome. What do you play?
6. I play guitar.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, play rhythm guitar. So and do
Okay.
backup vocals. So yeah.
Thank you for indulging
Um,
me on the music part of the cross border
oh,
interviews
absolutely.
municipal show.
I,
So
I
you
love I love plugging my band anywhere I can.
so okay. Let's just pause for a second, but we're not pausing. We're gonna continue talking. What type of
Okay.
music do you is it like is there another
Country
are you
rock.
country okay. Own music?
Yeah. Yeah, we do
Covers?
country and rock. Sorry?
Own music? Do you write your own music? Or are you cover band as well? Or what type of music like what's your go-to song that you guys play?
Our go-to song. Oh boy. Probably old time rock and roll.
Ooh, Bob
That's the one
Seger.
we usually end off each show with. But we do have some original songs that we do. Band members written some songs, and we do. If you go up on YouTube and look us up, you'll see one. It's called "Dancing Machine." So that's one of our originals. So that's a fun song to play.
For those who are watching on TV, for those who are watching on YouTube, or for those who are listening on all the podcast platforms, the links to Putt Putt Garage is in the show notes below. I want to check them out, and I will be looking up them right after this interview. And I'm so looking forward to being able to plug them and hopefully seeing a show in person when I come out to your community later on
Oh,
this
that'd be
year.
great.
Um, but okay, I want to get back to this story because I think this is a
Sure.
interesting story because you, Roger Hayward from NICAM, Pat Jackson from Kipling all said we're not running. But then
Yep.
last time I checked when I was at Suma, Roger and Pat are both members, both mayors still.
Yep.
So what made you decide you were gonna put your name back on, or was it like them? No one else put their name on, so you had to.
Um, Pretty much that was the case. Like there was a person that was going to do it, but he didn't want to do it. So I had some conversations with him. I had conversations with friends of mine, my wife, and I was really encouraged by friends in town to run again. So
I
I thought about it and thought about it, and I'm like, okay, I guess I will. And here I am.
You sound so happy to be the mayor of your community after 4 terms. Here I am. You sound like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, mayor.
I know. I heard that. I'm like, oh boy, he's going to sound
I-
ungrateful.
Is
I
this it?
am truly.
Is this it though?
I
Is
am.
this the last term? Is this it for you, or can you say
I'm
on the
saying yes right now.
so
It'll be
for those
on
who
the internet forever.
for those 313 other Borden residents right now, get your ducks in a row because in 4 years' time,
It
one of
matters.
you have to step up.
That's right.
Um,
But no, to go back to your original question, how are we working? We're working out very well.
was
We
there a large
have
turnover?
um, yeah, two counselors decided not to run, and then so there's two other positions. But my deputy mayor was my deputy mayor on my first term as council. He didn't get in the last election. He didn't get enough votes, so he wasn't voted in. He sat out 4 years. Now he's back at the table, and we have one brand new counselor, and you know we have a diverse council. We have two ladies and two men, two business owners, principal, and somebody who's involved with real estate, and myself. So we have a good balance, and there's a lot of new, fresh ideas. They're all excited to get their hands dirty and to do the things that need to be done. So that helps a lot. That takes a lot off my plate when I have people who are willing to jump in and get their hands dirty.
What do you hope to get accomplished in the next 4 years? Because I can imagine I always, whenever I set out to do something, even if it is reluctantly, and I'll say that nicely,
Mm-hmm.
I always put myself into the position of what do I want to accomplish? What after 4 years can I say, okay, at least I got this done. I'm happy, I'm content, I can go away, and I don't need to run again. What are you looking for? What does Borden look like in 2029? So that way, when you do ultimately decide you're not going to run, you can look back and say, we got this accomplished. What would be your piece de resistance, the saving grace, the sort of the holy grail that you could get done this term?
Would be developing the business commercial along the highway. Um, we need to get that going. Um, that'll bring some excitement, I think, to the village and housing. Get some new housing built so we can welcome more people to our community. And hey, maybe one of those newcomers will become mayor.
Always the
But
political angle there, right, Jamie?
yeah, but those two things, if I could get, if not I, if we as council and we as a village, we can get that done, I think that would be like right on. We accomplished this.
Oh, awesome. Now, I want to turn to my favorite subject, and I know for a fact that municipalities don't often talk about the things that people can do in their communities, the tourism aspects, the things that people can come
Mm.
see while they're in the community. But as I just mentioned in the sort of joking about your band, I'm coming to Borden this year. I've made a pledge that if you come on my show, I come to your community. So I'm doing a big swing through northern Saskatchewan here, and I know Borden is not northern Saskatchewan, but I'm leaving Saskatoon and
Mhm.
driving north, so therefore I'm going to be driving through Borden. So I'm going to
Yeah.
stop in. What should I see? What should I visit? What should I take in while I'm coming through on a weekend or weekday in the summer months? What is there to do in Borden for those wary travelers?
We have a pretty um, nice museum area in Borden. We have a replica of Diefenbaker's house because John Diefenbaker was born in around, raised around Borden, I should say. Sorry. When he was a young child, it was northwest of Borden. So we have a replica of their house along Museum Row. Um, we have disc golf. You can do some disc golfing if you'd like. 9-hole disc golf course. We have a nice trail that we have through town. Goes in through the forest, or well, what we call the forest. It goes through a little bush, I guess we'll call it. Um, so there you can do that. We got a neat little. I don't know if we call it a thrift store or antique shop, I guess we could call it. It's called the Troubadour. They lots of neat stuff in there. Um, and if you need some money, we got a credit union. You can pull some money out of the bank.
Oh,
We got
I love your honesty, but I got to ask one question. Where do you go? Because you yourself described guy who's always on the go. You got your band, you got your fire chief, which I'm assuming can keep you quite busy. You got being mayor, got being husband. What do you do to just relax in your community? Where can we find you to just find that spot to decompress in? Where is that for you in your community? Is it your house or is there a special spot in your community that you go to just let it all go?
um, yeah, it's usually around home or at a friend's house. Um, Once in a while, I'll go to the hotel and have a couple sociables there, and but yeah, just basically around home or friends is where I go.
That was the perfect spot to plug your band. Be like, no, I go out and I play with my band. I go putt putt
Play
garages.
gigs.
There you go.
I'm never home.
Never sounds like you're never home. I
No.
want to leave on my final question because we're about 45 minutes in, and I want to make sure I get this $1 million question. And I know you're a busy guy, as you just self-described. What makes the village of Borden such a unique place to live, to work, and to raise a family?
We're self-sustaining. Believe it or not, we're self-sustaining with what we have. We got a K to 12 school. We got a co-op grocery store. We got a co-op hardware store. We got the bank. We got the post office. We got a hotel. We got a preschool. We got a daycare. We got a health center. Um, we got all the amenities that the city have. And what makes it great, like I said earlier, it's the people. The people in Borden, it's a welcoming community. If you want to get involved, you're welcome with arms wide open. If you want to kind of just lay back and just chill out a little bit, you can do that too. But yeah, the fact that we have all these services, and I probably missed some, but we have all these services available. That's what makes it great. You don't have to stay in the city to go grocery shopping or to buy some lumber and stuff like that. You can just come to Borden, chill out, have a slower pace of life, and just relax if you ever get to stay home.
If you ever get to stay home, unlike the mayor. Jamie, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for sitting down with me. I'm so happy that we connected via social media and we were able to do this. I have newfound respect for all municipalities after I chat with them, and you are no exception to that. Thank you so much for serving for another
Thank you.
reluctant term, but it sounds like you're excited for the reluctant term. And I also want to take a moment and say thank you to just being part of the show. It's always great to connect with Saskatchewan municipal leaders, and I'm so hopeful that we can actually meet in person while I'm coming through Borden later this year. Because you said Diefenbaker House as a political geek. I want to go see the replica of the Diefenbaker House, so I will be there now
Yeah,
and
excellent.
with a lot of cameras and a lot of video cameras. So thank you so much.
Oh, that'd be great. Thanks.
Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of Cross Border Interviews. Now, we hope you've enjoyed today's conversation and gained some valuable insights into the world of Saskatchewan municipal politics. Now, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platforms or head over to our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button there. Or if you haven't already, head over to any of our social media channels and hit the subscribe and follow us there to never miss an upcoming episode. Now, to learn more about the communities and the people that we feature on this show and our sister shows, visit us online at crossborderinterviews.ca. And your support means the world to us. So share this episode with your friends, your family, and yes, even your community, and help keep the conversation going. Till next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll be back with a brand new episode of Cross Border Interviews shortly. Till then, everyone.